Hey guys, and welcome back again for another video. We're going to be doing stage 14 of the Ghostbusters build, the Ecto-1. We will need to go get all our pieces out. We have these bad boy pieces here. As you can see, there's quite a few. What we need to do is we just need to take them all out. We'll go through the parts list and then we'll get on building. Okay guys, all the pieces are now out. You get quite a hefty amount of stuff in this, and this looks like it's going to be quite a good build. So you want to just check your part. I mean, these parts, some of these are metal, you know. So this is a metal piece. That's metal, which is good. That's metal. That's plastic. That's plastic. The wishbones and everything like that. You know, there's a lot of metal parts in this. This is all metal. That's metal, and these would be metal on the car. So I'm really happy that this is going to be the main structure of, you know, the wheels and the support, and most of it is metal. So that's going to help a lot. But we do need to just go back and quickly check our parts off. We don't want to take too long doing this because we want to crack on with the build. You want 14A, which is going to be the lower suspension arm, which is just there. 14B, which is the shock absorber. The shock absorber will look like this. The shaft, which is 14C, looks like this section here. The upper steering knuckle connector, which is 14D, is going to look like this. Lower steering knuckle connector, which is 14E, is going to look like that. They're metal as well. That is absolutely impressive. Upper suspension arm 14F, which is this one. Again, that is metal. I love that. Coil spring, you can't miss that. 14G. Rubber bumper, so this is like the bump stop, which is just there. That is 14H. A mounting bracket, which is 14J, is going to be this weird looking piece here. Steering knuckle, which is 14J. Oh, sorry, done 14J. 14L, which is the brake drum. Which is going to be, it actually looks like it has all the pictures in there as if you would have the brake, I guess, like cylinder and stuff like that. That is actually really impressive that you can see all that in there. That is really cool. I don't know if you can see that. It's got like all the detail for the brake drum in it. That is absolutely impressive. The backing plate, sorry, was the first bit, which is just that bit there. That has also got a little nipple on it. That's impressive as well. Left tie rod, which would be 14M, which is going to be this one here. Steering rack, which is going to be this long piece, and that's metal again as well, so that's so impressive with that. And then the rest of them are the screws. So the screws are EM, HM, IM, JM, KM, GP, and HP. So just make sure that they're there. Right, again with the book, because obviously they cram it all into one, we just need to fly through to the next section. The first thing it wants us to do is get to figure A. So they're asking us to take 14A and attach it to 14E. 14E is going to be this. It says to get the one that says L on it. This says L on it, so you can't get that wrong. That just goes in between this section here, and then you need to hold it in with 2 EM screws either side. So we're just going to go quickly pop a couple of EM screws in, and we'll show you what that looks like once we've installed it. So there you go guys, we've now got to figure A and figure B, because I decided to go and put the bump stop in as well. So figure A should look like this. So you want to have the 2 EM screws either side, and this bit that's flapping is 14E. And that's attached to 14A, which is this main frame here. And then I went ahead and put the bump stop in. So that's 14H, which goes in there. That looks like a little bullet. And underneath there is a little screw. Let's get a pointing screwdriver. That just goes in there as well. So that's a GP screw that just goes in there as well. You want to just sort of hold on to that little nipple if you can. I know this sounds rude, but hold on to that little nipple and then just screw it up. In that way, and it does go in quite nicely. That is meant to flap because that's meant to move. Right, so now that that is done, we need to now carry on with the next bit. So what it's asking us to do now is asking us to take 14F, which is just here. So this is going to be the wishbone, or the suspension arm, should we say. And then we will need to attach 14D to that, which is going to be this one. And that just goes in here. I don't think you can get it round the wrong way, just for the pure fact that it just looks like it only goes one way. We're going to go and screw those in with 2 EM screws, and then we'll be back in a second once we've done that. So there you go. So that's figure A again on the second part. So you want to have the wishbone there, and you want to put the 2 EM screws in either side, and that's 14D. That wants to be able to move up and down, as you can see. We'll leave that there because we're not going to be working on that for a minute. The next thing, we will be working on that. Sorry, I thought it was going on to this section. So the next thing we need to do is attach 14C, which is this section here. That will need to go either side of this wishbone, like that, and then you need to put either side another 2 EM screws. So what we're going to do, and then we'll have figure B again. So we're going to go take another couple of EM screws, and we're going to attach it so it looks like that. So we're just going to quickly go do that now. Okay guys, so this is now figure A, which is now done. So it says figure A, figure A. I don't know whether they're meant to put figure B when it's got the second piece on, but you should have something that looks like that. Both of these should move. So that should move. That top section there should move as well. And then it should be sitting down. Well, it's asking it to have this section sitting in the middle like so, when it's up that way. So when the curve is like this, that section should look like that, and then you should have it like that. So that then you've got the outline, and this section is indented there. So that's how that should look at that stage. Right, so now it's asking us to get the body. So we're just going to have to move a couple of bits out of the way. I'm going to try and do it here so you guys can see. So it wants us to take the body. It's got to be this way round. We're going to be working on this side, so you should be able to see it quite easily. What it's saying for us to do, figure A is saying that it wants us to take this section, which is now 14F here. It wants it to just pop it into there like so. And then it's saying to secure that down in figure B by 2 HM screws. So we're going to have to go and screw a couple of screws into there, 2 HM screws. I don't know whether you can put it this way around and it allows us to put them in, but we're going to try it. Like I say, we've got quite a big choice of screws here. But we will take this HM screw now and then attach that, and then once we've put them screws in, we'll be back in a moment. Okay guys, see you in a sec. Okay, this figure is now done, so you just want to make sure that that's in there nice and secure. You don't want, this frame here is just going to be held in, so this will still be able to move up and down, so that's fine. You want to make sure that this section here doesn't move, because that's the bit that needs to be secure. We'll keep it up this way round because that's what it's asking us to do at the moment. It is now saying that figure C, which is this piece here which we built, will need to now be attached in here. So it will go in like that. As you can see, there's nothing holding it in place. But what it's asking us to do is get 4 IM screws, which we can now do, which are these big beefy ones here. And then we want to use these brackets here, which are going to be 14L, and they will be held onto here like that, and then they're stepped down. So as you can see, they are stepped down. You don't want to drop it down there. I wonder if I can get it out of my fat fingers. Yes. Okay, so that will just sit on there like so, in there, and then as I said, this is stepped down into position. So what you want to do is just have it so that it's holding that into place. So that will go something like that. It's really difficult to show you how it's done, but it does just sit on there like that. So I'm just going to hold that into place. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and get a few screws in. We'll just go and attach these, and then we'll show you an up close look at it once we've got those in, now that we've got it all lined up. So we'll be back in a sec, guys, alright? Okay guys, that is now done. So as you can see there, I've just put in the IM screws here and here and here. I had to use a bigger ended screwdriver. This is just a rubbish one that I've got. Like I said, we're still waiting for my kit to come. This should still be able to move up and down inside there, as you can see, like that, because you're going to be able to have to put all this suspension inside when we carry on. But yeah, that's how that wants to look at this stage. What we need to do now is just move on to see what they want us to do next. So Right, okay, so we're going to be going on to stage 4 on this, and it wants us to take 14k. 14k is going to be the section, the backing plate, which has a little lug at the back of it like so. So what it wants us to do is attach this metal frame here. That is going to have to go through that hole. So it's going to have to go through that whole section. I think there is... there's not really any recess on there. Okay, so there is a recess on this side. So you want to make sure it goes through that way. So this is going to be one where we're going to have to attach it from the inside first. So what it's asking us to do is attach it with 2 screws. So we want to put 2 EM screws either side of that. So I'm just going to quickly go do that, and then we'll come back in a sec. Okay, so that's just that section there. So you just want the 2 EM screws, just one here and one there. That is going to be sticking through like that. And then this is how the back needs to look at that stage. What it's asking us to do now is to piece together the front section. So this is the bit where you would have all the pieces that make the brakes work. So you just want to line it up how it's asking you to do it in the picture. So they want this stuff to be at the top, that at the side, so it will go in and look a little bit like that. So there you go, that kind of clicked into place. That was really good. So we need to now attach this in. So these are HP screws. We're going to put 1, 2, 3 HP screws in there. We're going to go do that and we'll be back in a sec. Okay guys, so that is now done. So we have now got figure B, which is the 3 HP screws installed. So you have 1, 2, 3 HP screws there. So that holds that section into place. You will need to now attach this with a JM screw on the top. So we're going to try and figure this one out. So it wants us to hold this into place here for this section. It's quite hard to see what way around it wants us to be. So I think it wants us to be this way up. Yeah, that's right. And then it needs to sit on there. And then we've got to hold the top section in, which is moving up and down. That needs to be held in with a JM screw. So we're just going to go pop that JM screw into there now. That's going to be another fiddly one to do. Once we've got that attached in the top there, we'll come back once we've done that. So there you go. So that is now got that JM screw in the top there. As I said, you just need to install that so that sits in the top here. So that just goes in there. So that goes over the top of that. And then the JM screw goes down into there. I haven't done that up too tight, so you can move that backwards and forwards. I feel like that should have a little bit of movement for now. I will tighten it up if I need to once it's together. But for this stage, we're just going to leave it a bit loose just because we can. So we're now going on to step 5. Step 5 wants us to install the spring. So let's go grab the spring here. It's saying to have the open piece at the top, so that should just sit in there nicely like so. So now that's the spring. Right. So now that the spring is in place, we can lift that over the top and then put the last screw in that bottom section there. So it's asking us to put that over there like so. And then I guess you've got to line up the spring, and then it's going to be quite springy, obviously. So once you're holding all this together, you will need to just pop a screw down in the top there to keep them together. I'm going to have to go and hold this over here, guys. So while I'm doing that, I'll go do that and I'll come back in a sec. So there you go, guys. I've now managed to put that in. So that was the underneath. You need to put the IM screw. Don't get confused and go put the JM screw in there. That's the IM screw. So it's a little bit of a different screw to the other one, and that holds that into place. Once you have that round this way, you should have a nice bit of suspension there. So that should go up and down. There you go. So that's your suspension. And now this moves backwards and forwards nice and tight as we expected it would. And that is perfect. So that is that part of the section there. Right, so now we will need to move on to installing figure D. Figure D is going to be the shock absorber. As we said, the shock absorber is metal, which is going to be this one here. It's asking us to install this shock absorber. It's not really showing us too much. Okay, so the shock absorber needs to go in the center. So the shock absorber will go in the center of that there. It does have a little locating lug on it as well, so it should slide in nicely into the top of that suspension there as well. So that should just go in however it goes in. We'll just need to move that over a little bit and locate and line it all up. Okay, so there you go. So now that's gone in nicely. And then in the middle there, so it goes in the top here. So it goes through the top there, and then it goes through, and then in the middle here, you will need to attach it. So it's asking us to put an HM screw in there. So we're just going to go and attach that HM screw, and then we'll have a look at what it looks like afterwards. So there you go. So that now is attached. So that is the shock absorber going through there. And then underneath we have put in that screw. So that is the HM screw there, which is holding the shock absorber in. It's given it a lot more, made that suspension a lot firmer, and it's gave this a little bit more turn. So there's loads more movement in that, so we can actually move the wheels around. So that's really good. Right, so we now just need to set that aside just for a minute, because we need to attach two things. So we need to attach the 14N rod, which is just here. We need to make sure we get this round the right way. I don't think you can get it round the wrong way because it should be parallel to the other one. And we will need to attach the suspension arm with an HM screw just in the side. So just want to make sure we get it right. So just going to line it all up. So that should just go in there. There you go. And then we'll just need to put an HM screw in there. So just going to go pop one of those in, and again we'll be back in a second, guys. Okay guys, that is now attached. So that is that HM screw just in the top of there. As you can see, the bar goes this way up. You will have to attach it again at some point, but that is just to do that, so that's got some movement in it there. That will sit on here, and then it will go in the top of this suspension arm here. So I don't know if you can see that there. So this will go in top of there like that, sit in there nicely. And we now need to attach that with a KM screw. So what we're going to do is going to flip it upside down, put a KM screw in, and then we're going to have a look at what it looks like once we've done that. It's quite a small little screw, to be fair. Just want to see if my screwdriver fits in there nicely, which it does. Brilliant. Yeah, we're going to go pop that in, and we'll be back shortly. Okay guys, that KM screw is now in place underneath there, so not too sure if you can see it. So there's just a KM screw holding that piece in. And now we have the steering suspension. So this is the steering rack that's going to move this backwards and forwards, which is going to allow the wheels to move. So this is coming along really nicely. I do like how this is all pretty much metal, apart from some of the bits that don't really matter. So it's good, looking really good. So what I'm going to do is just going to show you, this is actually the end of this stage. When we come back again, if you want to have a read through, I would have a read through. It's some really good stuff of how they made the Ghostbusters in here. It's really nice. But I'm just going to give you a little bit of a spoiler alert to what is coming in the next few issues. So we will have all this coming next time. So I can't wait to get all that. I think we've got that coming very, very soon. The engine wise should... when the engine actually gets installed into this, because I'm guessing this is going to be this way up when we do it. So it will be that way up. Obviously we can't have it that way up at the moment because of, you know, it's not complete and the rack is hanging around. But the engine will sit in here. So what will happen, we're just going to give you a little bit of a show on where this goes. So that should sit into that locating lug there, and then that will sit into there like that. So this is just a part for housing the engine. So isn't that magnificent? So that is just for the engine. Can you imagine? We've still got the rest of the car to go. So this car is going to be like out here. We're going to have to zoom out when we get to that section, but this is going to be an absolute beast. Guys, if you like this video, please remember to subscribe just by clicking this button here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.